Welcome to the Yogababy space. I'm Suzanne Swan, founder of Yogababy, and I'm inviting you today to join us for a yoga practice to get in contact and to understand how to strengthen and lengthen the pelvic floor during pregnancy. This practice is best done in your second trimester, between 14 weeks and 28. So we're going to start first of all using the pelvic floor in coordination with our breathing. So it's a different thing to actually be able to know about the pelvic floor in relationship to your breathing. And we're going to work with a physiological breath. So place one hand on your diaphragm and one hand on your belly and sit comfortably with a tall spine. Close your eyes and begin to focus on your breathing. Notice that when you breathe in, your chest rises and falls underneath your hand. So this is where your diaphragm is. The diaphragm is a broad, expansive muscle that expands into the side of your body, the back of your body, and the front of your chest. Feel its expansive nature with each inhalation. Notice in way of contrast that the exhalation takes no effort at all. It's simply relaxing. Allow yourself to anchor and sit into your seat as you breathe out. Breathing in, feel the chest rise. Breathing out, the diaphragm releases back into the chest again. So as you breathe in, your diaphragm expands, your organs move down and your belly rises in your lower hand. As you breathe out, feel that your belly begins to subside as the diaphragm releases back into the chest again. Belly breathing. Breathing in, feel the chest rise. As you breathe out, feel the belly subside. Breathing in and expanding. The belly expands. And then as we breathe out, the belly subsides away from your hand. So now moving into awareness of the pelvic floor as we breathe in, the pelvic floor at the bowl of the pelvis lengthens, the tailbone lengthens, and as we breathe out, as the belly subsides, the pelvic floor shortens, that is, the tailbone moves towards the pubic bone gently, shortening the space in the pelvic bowl. Notice that as you breathe in, the pelvis lengthens, the tailbone lengthens, the belly expands, and as we breathe out, the belly subsides, the pelvic floor shortens as the tailbone moves towards the pubic bone very gently. The importance here is to contract on the exhalation only so that you can release. So breathing in, releasing the pelvic floor, lengthening the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor muscles sit as a bowl, as a supportive hammock between your pubic bone and your tailbone, supporting your inner organs. As you breathe in, visualize that hammock lengthening, becoming wider, spacious. And as you breathe out, see that hammock gently flattening and lifting. That's the way. Breathing with your belly will help the pelvic floor to lengthen and to shorten in a gentle and very effective way, to release tightness and tension from the pelvis. Gentle belly breaths for you and your baby. In yoga, we call the pelvic floor area the mulabandha, the lock. And this is a lock that's very flexible, moves as we move. Responds to stabilize and support the body, to hold the energy of prana. So as you breathe in, visualize white light flowing down through the crown of your head into your womb. Imagine there's a vase in your womb, and you're filling that vase up with light and energy, love. And as you breathe out and you gently engage the pelvic floor muscles, as the belly moves back to the spine, we're going to visualize that light being absorbed up through your central energy channel along your spine and being absorbed by your baby. That's the way, breathing in. And breathe, feeding your baby with light and love and energy. And as you breathe out, visualizing and imagining that light and that energy being absorbed by your baby. Good. Come into a neutral position with the spine and just gently take the arms up and away from you, and as you exhale, coming over to the side, elbow up, inhale, turn and look over your back shoulder. Let the arm come forward, sweep it around, inhale, all the way through the sky as if you're following the rainbow to the other side. Exhale. Inhale, elbow to sky. Turning your head to look down at your bottom arm. Inhale, arm beside ear, up beside, all the way up, and exhale, release. Good. Now let's come on to all fours where we can practice the head down, bottom up position. So we're going to start on all fours. And from this all fours position, we're going to come down onto our elbows. It's sometimes called the polar bear, sometimes called knee chest position. So in this position, I want you to rest your head as comfortably as you can, perhaps on your forearms. And from here, we're going to practice pelvic tilts. This is going to give you an opportunity to get in contact with your pelvic floor a lot more without the weight of your baby. So as you breathe in, let the tailbone lift up. Let the belly expand. Lengthening the pelvic floor now. As you breathe out, draw the tailbone through the legs towards the pubic bone, closing the opening of the vagina, drawing the walls of the birth canal together and lifting up just underneath the pubic bone. The next time you breathe in, relax and let go. Lengthen the tailbone to the sky. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, moving it towards the pubic bone, hugging your baby up into your spine as you lift up underneath the pubic bone, closing the opening of the vagina, drawing the walls of the birth canal together. On the next breath in, relax and lift the tailbone.
Now do that a few more times in rhythm with your breathing. Follow your breath length, perhaps counting up to 4 as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, the same count as you breathe out. So if you're breathing out for a count of 2, you're breathing in for a count of 2. But if you're breathing out for a count of 6, you're breathing in for a count of 6. Exhaling as you contract the pelvic floor, drawing the tailbone towards the pubic bone, closing the opening of the vagina, drawing the walls of the vagina together, and lifting up under the pubic bone. Breathing in and expanding, lengthening the pelvic floor, visualizing the pelvic floor lengthening. This is going to give us good strength, our capacity to lengthen and shorten the pelvic floor. Shows its capacity to work and engage when the need arises. Also helps us to see that our pelvis isn't holding tension, creating tight muscles that are difficult to let go. So when we do these pelvic floor exercises, it not only strengthens loose pelvic floor muscles, but it lengthens tight pelvic floor muscles that can be created over time through habits of tension or anxiety, over exercising the pelvic floor. Good, let's come to a neutral position. Just hug your baby gently into your belly and come up to all fours. So in the all fours position, we're going to practice just moving around to release tension from the pelvis itself. We're going to start with the cat, looking up to the sky now. We're going to include the head, tailbone lifts. As we exhale, draw the tailbone through the legs. Lift your baby to the sky, drop your chin towards your chest, round your shoulders. Emptying the breath. As the breath flows into the body, breathe in and lift the tailbone, lift the heart, lift the head, looking up. As we exhale, round the spine, down into the earth with your hands firm on the earth, pressing away from the earth, and then surrendering your weight as your shoulder blades come together. And we inhale, lift up, see if your shoulder blades can kiss. As we breathe out, let the shoulder blades separate, widen as we look towards our navel. Good, let's come to neutral position. And from here we're going to do some hip circles. So we're going to move back towards the heels, out towards the side hip, forward towards the pubic bone at the front, and up to its side. If your knuckles or your elbows are sore, you can come onto your knuckles. If your wrists are sore, coming onto your knuckles. Just moving intuitively, either making small movements or wide movements, quick or slow movements. Deciding for yourself what feels good for you right now. We're going to move on to flowing into a figure 8. So imagine a figure 8 on the floor, and you're circling around at the belly button. You're swapping sides. You can come onto your elbows or not. Stretching your whole body now, moving around that figure 8, visualizing a silver thread, following that silver thread that's forming that figure 8 on the floor beneath you, like the sign of infinity. Let your head relax. And when you're ready, changing directions. As much weight as you wish on the front of the body as on the back of the body. Good, coming back to all fours, and notice if you have sore wrists, you can also use a block to rest your elbows on. And we're going to be in all fours here for a short period of time. So on the full fours, just check that you've got some padding underneath the knees if you need it. And what we're going to do is just going to practice on the exhalation, just gently lifting the baby up into the spine. And on the inhalation, just gently relaxing the belly. So these are just abdominal practices to lift the belly on the exhalation, and on the inhalation, relaxing. So we're going to add in the pelvic floor. Here we're going to concentrate on the 3 openings. I just want you to breathe normally, comfortably, as you will, while we hold for a period of time, engaging the pelvic floor. So we're going to close the opening of the vagina. Draw the walls of the vagina together as if you're flattening a hollow tube. Lift up under the pubic bone and lift your belly gently up. Hold here as you breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, and then relax. Belly and pelvis. Good, let's do that again. As you breathe out, gently close the opening of the vagina as if it was a drawstring purse. Squeeze the walls of the vagina together as if we are closing the birth canal, flattening the tube, and lifting up under the pubic bone as you hug your baby to your spine. Holding here for a count of 1 and 2 and 3, and then relaxing again. Relax the anus, relax the vagina, relax the urethra. That's just underneath the pubic bone. Last time, we're going to engage the anal passage. We're going to lift up through the vagina, and we're going to lift up underneath the pubic bone, the urethra. And lift the baby belly up gently and hold here now while we breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, and then relax. Good. So when we move into some yoga poses where we're going to start to weight the main body, you're going to feel that you have to do that practice while extending. So we're going to extend out through one heel to stretch out through the calf muscle. So pressing the heel back, getting a nice firm back leg, and feeling that you can feel this calf muscle itself stretching. Good. And then from here, engage the pelvic floor, lift up underneath the pubic bone, lift your baby up, and then raise the back leg up, pointing the toes. Hold here as you breathe, focusing on lifting the pelvic floor and maintaining the lift in the pelvic floor. Then exhale, release the knee down and slide it towards the other knee. Let's swap sides. Remember, you can always come onto your knuckles if your wrists are sore, or put your elbows on a block. As we press through the opposite heel, stretching out through the calf muscle to begin with. At the same time, we can be practicing our pelvic floor engagement, hugging our baby into the spine gently, closing the opening of the vagina, squeezing the walls together and lifting up under the pubic bone, and then raise the back leg up. Point the toes this time. Good. And then release down. Let's do that one more time. Extension, engagement, holding the engagement as you raise. If you want to challenge a little bit more, you can extend the opposite arm out or not. And then release down. Let's do the other side. Extension, engagement of the pelvic floor. Extend the arm and the leg or not. You might leave the arm down. You might even have the foot on the floor. And then release. Good. Let's tuck the toes under for a moment and sit back on our heels just to give our wrists a little rest. I'm going to roll the wrists in one direction and then the other.
Let's do another exercise, another yoga posture that helps to the pelvic floor to work better because we're going to release tension out of the pelvis. So we're going to do our psoas stretches, bringing one knee up into right angle. We're going to exhale and very gently bend. Doesn't need to be too much, you just want to feel a nice gentle stretch onto the top of that back thigh. If that feels okay, we're going to engage the pelvic floor. So you're going to close the opening of the vagina, draw the walls together and lift up under the pubic bone, and then raising the arms up, looking up to the sky if you can, or gently let the head come forward. Good, let's release the arms. And very gently release out of that posture, placing the hands down. You can get a nice stretch here as well. You can make little circles just to release any tension from the pelvis. And then when you're ready, stepping that leg back. Let's take a moment to release any back pain by taking the knees wide, big toes together, and dropping back into our child pose. Plenty of room for the baby belly between your knees. You can rest the head in your hands or on your hands on the ground. Breathe into the back body. Good, let's do the other side, coming to all fours, stepping the other leg forward into a right angle, taking your hand to your knee and coming upright. Taking a moment here just to gently bend forward with the pelvis, and the knee goes towards the little toes, not over them. And as we engage, just squeeze the buttock of the bottom leg gently, engage the pelvic floor, close the opening of the vagina, squeeze the walls together, lift the pubic bone up, and then raise the arms to the sky. Use your big toe and your heel of your front leg to help you to balance as you reach for the sky. Good. Relaxing down, hands to knee, hands to floor, and then stepping that leg behind. Once more, taking your knees wide, big toes together, and resting back. Choosing whatever resting position for your hands. Breathe into the back belly and into the belly. Give your tailbone a little wiggle. That is, shift the weight from side to side, shifting your weight to one knee and then the other. We're going to end our practice today with sitting in Malasana, which is what we call the squat pose. It's always good to have a little block here, or perhaps something underneath your heels, so that we can sit down with our feet on the floor. So if your heels don't quite reach the ground, you can always put a little blanket underneath them. So in the squat position, it's very good for lengthening the pelvic floor and to give you an opportunity to practice contracting the pelvic floor. Before we do that, just place one hand down on the ground and reach the other arm up to the sky. That's the way. Exhale, bring the hand down to the ground, and inhale, reach the other arm up to the sky. Good. And then from here, bringing your hands to your heart, practicing our breathing. Now as we breathe in, feel the tailbone expand, lengthen. And as you breathe out, just gently draw the walls of the vagina together. So close the opening of the vagina, draw the walls together and lift up underneath the pubic bone. And then on the inhale, just relax everything. Exhale, contract gently. Inhale, release. Exhale, shorten the pelvic floor, feeling draw up into the pelvic cavity. And then as you lengthen on the inhalation, feel the tailbone releasing long. Last one, contracting. And releasing. You might like to take a moment just to bring one knee down and the other knee down, so long as you don't have knee or ankle troubles. And taking a moment to close your eyes. Bring your attention back to your breathing. Thank you for the practice today. Namaste.